On his deathbed, Kim Jong Un named you as next supreme leader of North Korea. What's your move? Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. Probably get assassinated on the second day. Elected on Friday. Assassinated on Saturday. Buried on Sunday. Solomon Jong Grundy. Perfect. Where the frick do we even go from here? Monday. Played 2-on-2 hoops with Dennis Rodman as my teammate. He would insist upon being on the team that played against you and he'd throw it. You'd look like the best basketball player alive. He throws a pass to his teammate and it hits you in the shoulder as you run by. The ball bounces off and into your team's hoop. This happens 3 times in a 20-minute game. If I got 1 rebound over Rodman, that's legendary stuff. Kidnap LeBron James and his family, then play 2-on-2 hoops against him and Dennis Rodman, with no one else on your team. Glorious leader wins and triumph with no one on his team, because no one is his equal. Oh, I see the North Korean Space Jam script has leaked. Make sure to keep the military and political leaders paid as to not get immediately assassinated, then slowly make behind closed doors deals with other nations to relieve sanctions without upsetting China, my only ally. Actually, China isn't really such an ally of the DPRK as much it is just interested in its existence as a barrier against capitalism. Yeah, I just figured saying ally was easier than saying country that somewhat wants their existence to continue. It's a barrier against their biggest threat to power. The USA. Capitalism, commerce and trade has made China stronger than ever. I guess learn Korean. Dude, you're the supreme leader, you can make everyone else do the work. Just make the new official language English. Or Klingon. That could be fun. Wouldn't be that hard. It's already a requirement that all North Koreans study English. So they already know the language. That shocked me. Had to look it up. Turns up you are almost right. There is a requirement for all North Koreans to learn a foreign language, but it doesn't have to be English. Many choose to learn Chinese instead, because China is a major trading partner. Russian used to be popular as well, but as trade with Russia has diminished, so has its popularity in schools, although it is still taught. There is a great documentary about North Korea by an independent Russian journalist. There are people he meets who have a basic understanding of Russian. He also said in the documentary that there are people in North Korea who like to listen to Russian music and know about basic current events in Russia. If you live in North Korea, Russian and Mandarin would be 2 good languages to know, as there are still lots of support being given by those 2 countries. I also remember from a book I read that some of the North Korean military equipment uses the Russian language and the operators have to learn it to use the equipment. That was my first thought too. Sell it to the highest bidder. I wonder who would buy it? US? China? Russia? The Rothschild family? I'll divide North Korea into West Korea, Northwest Korea, East Korea and Northeast Korea. The People's Fractal Republic of the People's Fractal Republic of the People's Fractal Republic of Korea Korea. So TPFR of TPFR of TPFR of KKK, TPFR, 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 K, TPFR 3, K, using composition of functions. This comment was underappreciated and I believe you deserved an award. I'm pull though, so take my upvote. Declare war on Switzerland, those neutral fricks. What makes a man turn neutral? Lust for gold? Power? Or were you just born with a heart full of neutrality? If I don't make it, tell my wife hello. I have no strong feelings, one way or the other. Applause. Go to beige alert. All I know is, my gut says maybe. Laugh, then hit report spam on the email informing me of this fact. You delete the email as spam. A few days later an actual written letter arrives advising you of your fortune. You'll toss it in the trash. A few days after that an Asian man in an impeccable suit hand delivers you notice of your ascension. You'll send him away as a scam artist. Finally, later that week you're accosted on the street and bundled into a windowless van by a half-dozen heavily armed mercenaries. After being bound and blindfolded for several hours through what you're sure is a long distance light, they stand you up, untie your arms, and pull the bag off your head. revealing a room full of Asian dignitaries and a judge with a copy of Marx's manifesto waiting to swear you in as president. Man, you'll utter bemused. You guys will do anything to dupe someone, won't ya? Probably wouldn't be Marx. Most likely Kim Il-sung's writings on Josh Sasson. Or Kim Jong-il's favorite movie script. For all we know. That whole family is weird. They're like the nouveau riche of monarchies. Nailed it. Thanks, Fear. How in the F did I get here? This is not my beautiful house. Thank you. That's a good song to get stuck in my head. This is not my beautiful wife. Letting the days go by. Letting the water hold me down. I'll merge North Korea and West Virginia and I will make Country Roads the anthem. Singing Almost Heaven. West Korea. Peak to mountain. Next to Taedong River, life is good here. Better than the rest. Better than what Seoul has. Better than the West. Country roads. Take me home. To the place I belong, best Korea. There's no trauma. Take me home. Country roads. After reading this, I'm the happiest I've been all day. And let me be clear. My day has already featured fresh baked chocolate chip cookies, a margarita, and TJ's orange chicken. Anyone else start singing it too? I don't have enough for gold, but take this silver for this is truly amazing. Change the name of the country to Bananarama and make the national anthem Venus. That will definitely be a cruel summer. I understood that reference. I love that there's two great songs W the same name. I have painted my children for the last time. Generalis in my opinion. Welcome to Bananarama, where it's party time, all the time. Sell everything to South Korea. I would honestly be curious to see how South Korea would handle being turned over North Korea. Obviously South Korea's official position is in favor. But that would be a stark change in the entire country. South Korea has become one of the leading economies and is years away from what it used to be. Handling reconstruction and integration of a massive amount of impoverished, culturally different, and ideologically distinct half of the country would be nearly impossible. Not to mention the giant shit fit China would throw over it, losing the buffer between itself and South Korea. Absolutely this. China likes having a bunch of pool-over armed commie hillbillies sitting between it and a bunch of American armored division rolling onto its northern plains. For real. China is currently unassailable by land unless Russia, Vietnam, or North Korea switch sides entirely to being US military bases. All of which are pretty freaking unlikely, I'd say. North Korea flipping would be on par with the Cuban Missile Crisis for China, easily. Except, instead of Cuba it's basically Florida, because there's gonna be tanks on the border ready to go whenever. Only a good day's ride away from Beijing. Vietnam actually might flip. China is pissing it off in the seas between them, China and the Philippines. Add to that the Vietnamese have a long history of not liking the Chinese and you actually might see them flip. The Yanks would love to get back the naval base they built at Cam Ranh amongst other things. I'd try to do good things at first, but the power will probably go to my head and I'll turn into a shit leader. Sorry North Korea. I'd try to do good things, but first, let's re-educate some of my enemies and watch a few thousand people dance for me. I'll also attend a service to worship myself. You're finally home. This remembered me to Apocalypse Now movie. Invite James Franco over and listen to some Katy Perry together. Cause baby you're firework. Kim shits pants. And give him a puppy. Holy shit. Holy shit. Eminem is gay on our show. Eminem is gay on our show. Eminem is gay. They hate us cause they ain't us. I'd probably just continue my normal life in America, then someone else seizes control of North Korea. Because realistically I'd just get assassinated the moment I step foot in North Korea. All these other people trying to do anything else in this thread ends up dead while accomplishing nothing. But not if you'd been chosen. That's enough to assume that you'd have enough support to stay alive. But you do know what happens when we assume. That's enough to assume that you'd have enough support to stay alive. Not really. If Kim named Dennis Rodman as his successor because they were friends, would you actually think they'd follow him? Have every building moved, brick by brick, Exactly 1 mile to the west. Just cause that's the kind of batshittery that's expected of the position. Then talk to South Korea about reunification under their control. RIP buildings on the west coast. That sounds like quitter talk to me. Now, 1 mile to the west. Yes, Supreme Leader. Sorry, Supreme Leader. Attempts to flee to South Korea. What would you like to roll to flee? The DM in me says stealth. The player in me says acrobatics. You would most likely end up being killed by the government if you try to do anything against the norm over there. Kill the high-ranking officials and replace them with your most loyal and trusted friends. Yet honestly, nothing short of a purge is gonna work. The fact some Rondo got appointed president is already a guarantee you'll have hitmen after you. To enact any kind of lasting change, you'd need to root out the established power bases, and that's never pretty. It'll pretty much look like genocide. Not to mention NK-friendly powers wouldn't take this lying down. China and Russia will be falling all over themselves to deal with you. More authoritative. More gulags. Prisons. Build more nuclear weapons. Bigger parades in my honor. This guy dictates.